going on? What's going on? What's going on, guys? It's your boy Tay, and today we're going to talk a little bit about prison segregation. Does it go down? Is it real? And that's about it, really. There's really nothing else we can talk about with it. But yeah, outside because it's beautiful. Why wouldn't I be? And I like getting some of that good energy from the sun. And that's a whole nother subject. Why are we talking about that? I'm supposed to be talking about prison segregation, not the sun and me and whatever. Anyways, and if you're new to the channel, my name is Dante. Welcome to the channel. I like talking about whatever's on my mind pretty much. If I think about a subject and it has something to do with like life, I talk about it. And prison segregation is something that's real, and it really happens while you're locked up. And you can be segregated in so many different kinds of ways, not just black and white when you're locked up. Think about it. People come from the same cities, and when you're normally locked up, you beef with people in your city. But when you get locked up, if you and that same person that you were beefing with, y'all become a clique because now you're beefing with another city. And federal prisons, it comes down to like state. If you're repping the state, you got to stick with everybody from the same state. It doesn't matter if you didn't like them or not, you need to stick with them because it's just how it goes. It's the prison code, as they say. And come on, don't get me wrong, this is not every single case across every single prison, all across the board. It goes down though. It definitely goes down in a lot of prisons, especially some of the most dangerous prisons around the world. And I can only speak about some of the prisons that I have personally been to. I have been to around 2 level 3 yards, and those are like some of the most dangerous yards that you can have in my state personally. And then I've also been to like a level 2 yard, and then 1 or 2 level 1 yards. But segregation is real. You saw that on day one. Walking into prison, the very first thing you'll see is how people are literally segregated, and you will see the color part come into play. You will see a group of white people, a group of black people all hanging together, and that's just what it is. But you see that in like normal life, right? Well, you do now because it's 2021, baby. Racism's about to die slowly, but yeah, we're working on it. It's gonna take about another 70 years, but we're working on it. But anyways, you see that a lot while you're locked up. Did I personally get caught in any of the segregation when it came down to race? No, I did not, because your boy Tay, I rock with everybody. I don't care. As long as you're genuine and you know you don't do me wrong, I rock with you. But that's not always the case. You know, you do have those people who won't mess with you because you do deal with another person who is another race. It goes down. There's been times where I've been in line and I wanted to get something from a cafeteria worker, and they will shortchange you on your plate because of who you are, who you hang with, and everything like that. So that can be a part of segregation too. I mean, it really goes down. So don't be shocked if you do go into a day room and you see a group of black people hanging out and then a group of white people hanging out, because it's just the way of the world, to be honest. Like when you get locked up, you get put in one of those situations, you want to get around people who you feel comfortable with, and people always want to be around like-minded individuals and like-looked individuals. That's just reality of life. Doesn't mean that people are always racist. That doesn't mean that people are just uneducated. It's probably the last one, but it's just how people gravitate and move in the world. Like, you don't never notice when you're walking down the street, and let's say if you're a white person walking in the black community, you spot another white person, you look at each other, you give each other the head nod or whatever. And if you're black, same thing. If you're walking around in a white community, you see another black person, you give each other the head nod. It's just a natural instinct because you feel more comfortable because you see a like-minded individual. So now imagine you're in prison. You're in one of the most dangerous places that you think that you're ever going to be in your life. And what are you going to do? You're going to gravitate around your people. That's just what it is. And especially for like white people. I mean, I don't mean nothing by that, but that's just what it is. That's what it seems to be like in prison. Like, more white people are always together than like black people are with black people, if that made any sense. So I'm not saying more white people are racist. I'm just saying, like, in prison, it's just like they click with each other more. Because I guess, I don't know, is it a comfort level thing? Or if you ever been locked up and you can answer that question for me, let me know, because I definitely see that a lot of times. Majority of the yards that you go to, the segregation that you're going to see is white people hanging out with each other. And I'm not talking about like the white people, bald head, KKK all shown, Ku Klux Klan, Nazi and all that. I'm not talking about those kind of white people. I'm just talking about like a regular white person. They want to hang around regular white people because that's just what it is. I mean, you're in prison. You trust each other more. Is that what it is? Probably. That's what I'm guessing. But that's just what it seemed like. That's just natural segregation. That's what it's really called. Just a natural segregation. Like, you're not meaning to do it. You're just gravitating to people that you know. I mean, and I get that. So when you go to prison and you are from a certain area, you're going to hang around those same individuals who are from that area. And if you can get around certain individuals who are from that same area, you're going to break it down to more classes than that. Okay, y'all are from the same neighborhood, so y'all are going to be the best friends on the yard, but y'all still will have a good camaraderie with other people from your same area. Just in case if something goes down in prison, you know who you're going to call, your boys from the same area that you are from. So that's why I said earlier in the video, your enemies on the streets, once you get in prison, them going to be your best friends. I've seen it. I'm telling you, you see people who are sworn enemies on the streets, they get in prison, and for survival purposes, that segregation I tell you about, they need to hang around their homeboys from the same area. That's just what it is. Of course, there's segregation when it comes to gangs. That's common sense. We're not even going to talk about that. But when it comes to like just other things, there's even segregation when it comes to like religion. The Christian people hang out with the Christian people. Nation of Islam hanging out with the nation. Then you got the weirdos hanging out with the weirdos. That's just what it is in prison. Not to be calling anybody weirdos, but there is that group of people who are, they're just weird. Let's just be honest. And they hang out with each other. It's just how it is in the world. I mean, all you're doing in prison is taking a bunch of people, putting them in a small area and making them build their own community. That's all you're doing. So they're going to do what they need to do to survive in that community. And that's hang around people they think they need to hang around because you feel like you just know somebody. If you came from the same area, you know how people are normally grown up in the same area. They have a lot of the same morals, be it good or be it bad. That's just what it is. From what I see, I mean, that's what I saw in prison. Again, don't get me wrong, this is not 100% true for every single yard across the board and every single inmate across the board and every single whatever across the board. It's just what I personally saw when I got locked up and how people introduced me. Like, oh, you my homeboy. That's how I became people's homeboy. Oh, you from this area? You my homeboy. I've never seen you a day in my life, but we homeboys now just because we from the same area. They gonna look out for you, gonna make sure you're good, and vice versa. But that's just what it is. that's a part of the segregation that goes on in prison, and it can be a benefit. I mean, it can definitely be a benefit to some people because if you don't have anything in prison and you get around a certain sect of people who really look out for their homeboys, then you good. As soon as you get locked up, you'll have like a little camaraderie with your group, and you'll be all right. They'll look out for you, but you know, don't be just some random person from North Carolina like me. You know, where you from? North Carolina? Oh yeah, you might have a homeboy in building 7. I'm dead serious. That's a true story. Somebody told me that before. Where you from? North Carolina? Oh, you might have a homeboy in building 7. Well, damn. What about this building? I mean, what about Travelers Rest? Anybody from Travelers Rest? That's where I live now. You know, so it's just, it is what it is. So that would have been a nice conundrum. What if I would have went to federal prison and then they would have been like, okay, you either North Carolina or South Carolina? That would have been interesting. Anyways, I don't know. But yeah, I did want to do this video just because I thought it was interesting and a topic that, you know, it's not as serious as you make it out to be, but it happens. Again, segregation happens in prison. Like-minded individuals hang around like-minded individuals, and that's just human nature. If you put squirrels, rabbits, and raccoons all in a cage, the squirrels gonna get with the squirrels, the raccoons will get with the raccoons, and the rabbits gonna get with the rabbits. That's just what it is. Human nature. So yeah, so segregation in prison, it goes down. Is it a bad thing? Not really. Can it be helpful? Yes. Do people take it the wrong way? Yeah, they can, but it is what it is. Overall, just don't go to prison. Like, that's what we're gonna say. I need to start ending that. Don't go to prison from now on. I'm gonna end all my videos, don't go to prison, because don't go to prison. I mean, why else? Just don't go to prison. That would make more sense than anything else. But make sure that you bless somebody today, because I promise you I'm blessing somebody tomorrow. At this point in time, your boy Tay is out. Don't go to prison.